What a great day to be an Eagle. One more time for the greatest team in America.
Georgia Southern gets its first win of the 2025 season. It comes at home in the friendly confines of Paulson Stadium, 41-34 against the Jacksonville State Gamecocks. And Cody, we called it. We said that this was probably going to be a shootout. It absolutely was. Not a lot of defense on either side to speak of, but we'll dig in mainly to our side of what we saw or didn't see out of the Georgia Southern defense. But yeah, look, win's a win. Desperately need it. We called it kind of a must-win game, and we got it. 1-2 on the year now, headed into our FCS opponent in Maine to square things up and go 500 on the season going into conference play.
Yeah, no, agreed. It's a must. To me, it's a must win. It was a big win. I get the monkey off our backs in terms of finally getting that W. It feels like the first step in maybe getting that California trip behind us. Again, I think the best way to look at that California trip is almost like a preseason. It's done. It's over with. Just ignore it. And now we got a 10-game season that we got to do the best that we can with. Yesterday was a good step in the right direction. Plenty of positives, still some negatives. We'll hit them all, try our best to. But no, it was, I got to say, shout out to the crowd that showed up.
Yeah.
Shout out to the students that showed up.
Yes. It stayed and staying.
Very, very fun atmosphere. I could not be more proud of Eagle Nation and how they, as rough as the first two games were, and I think as frustrated as the fan base has been, they still really came in and showed up for that first game, and it was fantastic. It was a great atmosphere.
Agreed. I was surprised. I honestly was.
Yeah.
I thought that home side would be pretty filled. I thought, a decent amount of students there, maybe just mainly because of like timing and stuff of when it was and just students being around, not holiday and that sort of thing. But man, the hill was filled.
Yeah.
That was 24, almost 25,000 was the reported attendance. Obviously didn't set a record or anything like that, but man, it was one of the biggest home openers in recent memory, and just the eye test of, watching it on ESPN Plus for me, from Colorado, it was a great crowd. It looked so good on TV.
It was, and it was, like I said, it was fun to be a part of, and having the victory made it even better. So, what do we want to begin with, Matt? Because I think there's a lot to kind of go through and deconstruct before we kind of get into Maine.
We'll begin with a thank you to our sponsor. So Can Cut Tools. Yeah. So welcome to Gotta Talk. That's Cody. My name is Matt. And yeah, we thank you, Andy Thompson, owner and founder of Can Cut Tools, is premium drill bits and cutting tools. You can check them out at cancut.com. It's KNKUT.com. Premium stuff. I did say that I would get the book after our first win. It is upstairs. I do have it. I have the sign back here, but yeah, I'll put some stuff in post-production of their website and some of the stuff they have, but yeah, good stuff. Go check them out. If it doesn't apply to you, it probably applies to someone you know. So give them a look on Instagram, see what they're all about, and you can visit their website, cancut.com, KNKUT.com. So I did want to talk about the crowd, Cody. We certainly could talk more about it. But, and I think it did come into play, certainly. Power Paulson, the whole thing, yes, cliche, but it's real. It is real. I think the crowd did will the team to that win, at least in certain points of the game.
They certainly didn't will the referees to make some easy calls.
They did it. Yeah. As usual, the officiating left much to be desired.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess we can start with the defense. I already teed it up, right? They enter the game dead last in most defensive categories in the nation, all FBS teams. Obviously, Fresno to kick it off, than, USC with 755 yards. That's going to skew things. We get it. So this one coming home, playing a team at home, let's call them, an equal peer, a team that,
Not just an equal peer, but even with all the coaching changes and player turnover, they're still the reigning Conference USA champions.
They are, yeah.
And
But I would say it's a good barometer, right?
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like we didn't really know what Fresno State was or wasn't. USC, we knew were going to be good. I think a lot of us, you and I included, Cody, thought going into the season before the Fresno State game, we would have, we were going to stand a much stronger chance in that game than we actually did. But yeah, like you said, kind of count it as preseason, put it behind you. Season starts, against Jacksonville State. Let's see how we measure up to them, not just defensively, but offensively, special teams, all three phases. And yeah, I mean, 394 yards allowed, 34 points allowed. They did force, a interception in the first half, and they got one stop, forced one punt in the first half, but they scored on every other possession. It was just very much a shootout, like we said it would be. And then in the second half, I will say they showed some grit and some fight. I thought, when the offense wasn't getting it done every possession like they were in the first half, they held them to just 10 points overall in the final two quarters. Field goal and touchdown. They forced, I think, 3 total punts and or 4 total punts actually. And yeah, so I mean, obviously, and had the big stop there on fourth down or with the fake field goal, but then the targeting call gives them new life, and they get a touchdown out of that. So that was really kind of another stop if it wasn't for that, for that play. But yeah, but still, I mean, 400 yards given up. We said it in previewing this game of like the defense is what it is, right? And honestly, I think like this is it. Like what you saw, no. Like, are we going to give up 755 yards to every team? Let's hope not. Are we going to give up 350 rushing yards every game? Let's hope not. But this one, are we going to give up 400 total yards?
Probably.
And around somewhere between 28 and 35 points a game? Yes. It's who we are. It's who we are. So, and you just kind of have to live with it. You have to take advantage of the turnovers when they come. You have to take advantage of the forced field goals instead of touchdowns when they happen. Offense obviously has to keep it, on all cylinders and score, most times when they touch the football.
It was crazy in that second half, and we're up 31-17, and we get the ball back. And I'm thinking to myself, if we can score here and go up 38-17 before half, that'll be huge.
Yeah.
That's pretty much putting the game away. And then when we go 3 and out, or we run 4 or 5 plays, I can't remember how that drive went, but when we didn't score, I was like, dadgummit, man, we may end up letting them back into this game. And sure enough, they were. They came down, they scored. They opened up the second half. What was it? Was it with a field goal? I can't remember how they opened up the second half, if it was with a field goal or with a touchdown.
With a field goal. 11 plays, 49 yards, get a field goal. So we punt, they punt, we fumble, they get a touchdown.
Okay, so yeah, we have this, 10-point swing right there at the end of the, with that middle 8 that's so thought of in terms of the analytics of college football these days. And sure enough, man, we almost let them come right back in. Well, no, we did let them come back in.
We did. They took the lead. 34-31. We tied up with going into the fourth quarter. They went in with the lead, tie it up 34. Yeah, we outscore them from there.
But no, I don't know what more to say about the defense that we haven't already said so far. I will commend them that holding Jacksonville State to 0 points in the fourth quarter was huge. Obviously, that's the main reason why we won the football game right there, was because our defense showed up in that last quarter and held them to 0. I thought that there was a couple of things, key things that really helped out Jacksonville State. You had that fourth down targeting call that was really kind of a late. Did that come from the booth? I was in the stands, but it seemed like it kind of came.
I think it was the booth because I had already tweeted. Yeah, I had already tweeted. I was like, "Hey, look, defense got to stop. They didn't fall for the fake field goal. You know, kudos to everybody all around." I believe they went to commercial break. You know, on the broadcast, and then they came back, and then all of a sudden they were reviewing a targeting call. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
I felt
what
like
is happening? Yeah,
I will give the defense this that they seem to have a lot of things not go their way. So you had that. You had a 3-and-out to open up the game, and then they had to come back and review a catch on the sidelines that was initially called incomplete. That again, from my point of view, I couldn't tell if the guy called it inbounds or not. That opened up the game for Jacksonville State. And then that led them to their first touchdown. You know, if that stays incomplete and it doesn't get overturned in the review, then that's a huge way for our defense to open up the game. And then, you know, but that's not how it happened. And then what was the other? Oh, the fluke of a fumble or interception or whatever it was as we're about to score. And Jacksonville State gets that turnover, and it's. I mean, that was, and then you know, obviously they get in, they march down the field and score. I think that was the play that the fake field goal, the fake field goal happened with the targeting. That was all that
whole
same
sequence was really
all
weird.
So
Yeah.
I will say this: the defense did not really have a lot of luck for them in that game in terms of
They didn't
just fluke things that happened that.
Especially in the second
50-50.
half. Again, the first half was just bad. I mean, like it was. They scored basically every time they touched the ball. Yes, they had the one interception, but you know, it just I mean, it was just a given. You just knew this is what it was going to be, and you thought that would be the case in the second half. And again, kudos to them. I don't know how much adjustments were made versus just talent on the field making plays.
I don't know. I will say that Jacksonville State did some play calling that left one to scratch their head. They seemed to try to go for a double pass about 2 or 3 times in a row on a drive in the fourth quarter. That just never panned out. I did not know. To me, if I'm in that situation, I would just feed Cook the ball. I feel like he had a pretty decent game up to that point. But we did contain him, I thought, as best we could with our defense. That series right there where they tried to double pass about 2 or 3 times in a row, I was just like, thanks for the gift, because that just made it easy for y'all to stop. Do you have something pulled up here, Matt?
Show? Well, so I looked real quick. Cam Cook, he had 21 carries, 120 yards.
Yeah.
So he did have a good game, but I mean, he definitely is one of the better backs in the country. Certainly one of the better G5 backs. So good game by all accounts. And again, they had 214 rushing yards. So far cry from what Fresno had, far cry from what USC had.
An improvement.
But still,
it's an improvement.
Yeah, it's an improvement. But what I have pulled up is the rankings, right? I mean, I'm not making this up. We are the worst defense in the country in most statistical categories. We were entering this game, and we still are. We're dead last in points per game, 45 points. We're dead last in yards per game, 558 points. Again, 755 against USC. We're second to last. We're second to last in rushing. With I believe this one is rushing 291.3 yards. Just a fraction behind Eastern Michigan for dead last in that category. I mean, we're going to have to start holding teams to under 200 yards rushing consistently to, significantly improve in those rankings. But again, it's bad. It is historically bad. I put out a tweet during, in the first quarter when it looked like, we were not going to stop them at all. And if we had any chance to win, it was going to be like a 65-60 final or something. I put out, this is most likely the worst defense we've ever fielded. And that was One, based on stats, that again, going into the game, we were dead last in the country. We've never had an elite defense in recent memory, or as an FBS program. But again, statistically, we've never been that far down,
No.
to my knowledge. And then eye test, just watching it. No, we're not coaches, but as fans, like, seeing it, it's like this, it's bad. Like, they don't take the angles, they don't make the tackles, they look confused. No adjustments are made. But Cody, as usual, put in some of the work, looked up the stats, not just of how we rank, of what you're seeing on the screen here if you're watching on YouTube, where we rank this year in the FBS, but where we rank against other Georgia Southern defenses all time.
Yeah, I don't know how quickly you can pull up gottadb.com, but I'll roll through these real quick. If you're looking at our total defense in terms of yards per play, right now this year ranks the worst of all time. Through 3 games, we are giving up 8.3 yards per play allowed. That's nearly a whole yard and a half more than the second worst defense which is the 2017 year, where they gave up 6.6 yards per play. So it's not this, by that metric right there, not good. The yards per game allowed this year again is worst in Georgia Southern's history at 558.67 yards allowed.
Where do I need to go here? Total
defense season
here.
Yeah.
All right.
And then you can just scroll up, Matt. Yeah, you can just click on the yards per play allowed right there. It'll reverse it. So, yeah.
There you go.
Right there, 8.3 yards, worst of all time so far.
Not making it up, folks.
And if you go to yards per game allowed, you'll see how we are in terms of that as we ranked again. Flip it around one more time to get it to go the descending order. And there we go. No, you're good. And so, again, you can see where 2025 ranks the worst as of now. The first 3 games.
3 games.
It can change. We're not saying this is just going to, end all be all for the rest of the season. But if they continue down the same trend.
22's on there, Will Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, again, and if you look at this right here,
24.
at yards per game, 2024, which is last year's defense, is right now the 4th worst. And then if you look at 2023, which was the first year of Brandon Bailey, 9th worst. So we can state
it's 3 top 10 worst defenses.
Yeah, bottom 10. Yeah. Or you can say that they're getting progressively worse. 2023 is first year so far is yards per game allowed. His best season yet. If you go to yards per play, which is another, flip it. There we go. You looked at it. 2024 ranks 5th. 2023 ranks 6th in terms of the worst defenses that we've had yards per play allowed. This is not good stuff. If you're giving up 6 yards per play as a defense, you're usually not stopping too many folks. And you're giving up a lot of points as well.
And a lot of it's running. I mean, that's what, Jacksonville State, that's their MO. Fresno State, that's their MO. USC did whatever they wanted to against us. But, it's just, it's even worse. If you just have no secondary and they're picking you apart in the passing game, that's one thing when it comes to like yards per play. Yeah, you're going to get a lot. We're giving up 6, 7, 8 yards per carry. Like, that's just inexcusable.
And for this right here, I'm hoping that as we play Maine this week coming up, that this will adjust and that this will tamper down some of these metrics. But, if for some reason they don't and Maine's can come in here and run the ball on us, it'll be kind of disheartening to say the least. But no, this will be something that I think we'll keep track on in terms of our defense, especially the yards per play allowed, to say the least. But no, as of right now, this is not where we want to be
historically the worst.
Yeah.
The tweet was correct.
Yeah.
Right. As of right now, through 3 games, it's historically the worst.
Yes.
You can say it's an anomaly because, back-to-back road games for the first time since 1985, and
Mhm.
it was against a much improved Fresno State team and a juggernaut and USC, where maybe they weren't ranked then, but maybe they end up being a college football playoff
Mhm.
team at the end of the year. It's possible. And then Jacksonville State looks like a pretty solid team, like you said, overhauled roster, new coaching staff, but they took
But they're not
UCF to the
bad.
wire. They're not a bad team.
They're not,
No,
and they're well coached.
Honestly, they look like if they were in the Sun Belt this year, I think they'd be a very competitive Sun Belt team, because the Sun
Yes.
Belt, frankly, again, only through 3 games, does not look very good. Outside of like 2
Yeah.
teams,
Yeah. No.
ODU being one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out
Yeah.
to ODU. I mean, yeah, that absolutely.
ODU right now
get a
looks
coach
like
fired.
is looking like
Brent
they may be
Pride.
the team to beat.
Yeah.
So, but again, there's a lot of season left to be played. But no, this is what we're concerned about as between us as a podcast, and I think a lot of fans is this right here.
And again,
Yeah.
like we said, 6th worst, 9th worst. Those are locked in, right? Like those are, they're done. Those seasons are done. So like you can say, oh, it's just 3 games, like, chill, a lot can be improved. No, the first 2 seasons under Bailey, again, 2 in the bottom 10, like, so like, not a lot of signs to make you optimistic that they're going to turn things around so dramatically that you see this 2025 drop way down that list.
Correct.
At season's end. So that's that. What else about the defense? I think we covered a good bit.
I'll give them props. I mean, they came out in the second half. They held Jacksonville State to 10 points, which was huge.
Agreed.
And even to me, even bigger than that was that they held them to 0 points in the fourth quarter.
Yes.
That was absolutely huge, and honestly unprecedented. I think it may be the first quarter that they held somebody to 0 points all season long.
Yeah, I mean, it took to the third quarter for their first 3 and out, I think, of the season.
I think so. I think I could be wrong. There could be a 3 and out somewhere between Fresno State and USC that we're just missing.
No, I'm pretty sure there wasn't. I'm pretty sure that was they even said on the broadcast.
Okay.
I'm just, it might not have been third quarter, but it was definitely in this game was their first 3 and out.
Yeah.
We thought we got on the first possession.
Yeah.
And then there was a penalty, right?
No, it was the review of the catch.
Oh, the review of the catch. That's right.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier was that, the defense to me had a lot of, and I felt like they had a lot of 50-50 calls or a lot of coin flips that just did not go their way.
That one was a catch. I mean, on the broadcast, I would say you could, and you texted me, you were like, was it a catch? I'm like, I have no idea. Because the original view was literally, it was the home side crowd, and you couldn't see anything. I mean, you couldn't see the lower half of the guy's body. Like, so I'm like, I have no idea if he got a foot in. But yeah, and same thing. I think it went to like commercial break, and then they came back and they were like, "Oh, it was overturned."
Well, it was, it was a very late like call down from the booth or whatever the case may be. And you're right. It was a very, at least for me, a late call. It felt like they had kind of flipped, like the offense was like on the field, and they were like, "Hold on, let's review this call now." But it was. I guess what I mean by like 50-50 calls is that they just didn't catch the break, right? Like it took somebody in the review to catch it. They could be a foot in. They just didn't go ahead and hike the ball, or that there was a TV timeout.
That's fair.
Whatever. You had, again, the fluke of we're fixing to score and go up, I think, about 2 scores in that third or fourth quarter or whatever it was. And the ball just, I don't even know how it got out of the receiver's hands. I mean, he catches it, he takes 2 steps, and then it's like, foom, right out of the air, right into a Jacksonville State guy's hands, and now they're going the other way. You have a targeting call that nobody saw at all when the play developed. Again, it's another booth review. Again, I didn't see it from the stands. I don't even know what happened, but apparently the call, I guess, was correct. They at least had video footage.
Yeah, at first I tweeted out it didn't seem like it, but when you go back and look, I mean, yeah, he speared him in the chest. You typically don't see that. Like, I have no stats to back this up, just a lot of football watching, right? But most of the time, anyway, it seems that when a targeting call is called, it is helmet to helmet.
Yeah.
Right. I know that's not the extent of the rule. I get that, like, it can be crown of the helmet to, I think, any part of the body.
Any part of the body. Yeah.
But like, I would, again, just like I test 90% of the time, 85% of the time, it seems like it's always helmet to helmet. So I think that part, and again, I didn't go back and watch every single angle of every, replay it 40 times or anything like that. But to me, at least on the initial play and on like the initial replay, it looked like it was like shoulder and maybe crown in the helmet. I don't know. It looked like a kind of a 50-50.
Yeah.
But, some other people chimed in and were like, no, it was textbook, whatever. And, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. But to your point, it's like that's just unfortunate because that's
Yeah.
just like one play. Again, that's special teams on the field on that play too. Yes, there's defensive players that play special teams, but they were lined up. It was a field goal package, right? It was a fake field goal that they attempted. So yeah, it's just unfortunate because like that like ultimately falls on the defense, and then of course they still give up the touchdown. But yeah. Anyway, so some tough breaks. I will give them that, and again, I do give them kudos for not allowing points in the fourth quarter, only 10 allowed in the second half, and
And
significantly less yards too.
I was gonna say, I know I text you a stat at halftime, and I don't know if I'm gonna be
They
able
had
to
like
find
260 or something total at half, I think.
Let's see.
265 or something like that. So they only gave up like 150 in the second half, which is good.
Yeah. Okay,
You
so
know.
here we go. I think at halftime I texted you, this is either halftime or somewhere in the second quarter, that Jacksonville State was 6 of 8 on third downs to start the game. 6 of 8. The rest of the game, I think they finished the game 7 for 14, which means they went 1 of 6 the rest of the game. So again, kudos to the defense, and we'll give them props for it. To end the game, the offense to going 1 of 6 on third down, that's huge. I don't know what the total yards were, but I'm assuming that total yards in the second half had to be lower than what they were in the first half.
That's what I was saying. Yeah. So I think it was like 260 and it was like 395 total. So yeah, it was like 150, 140, 150 in the second half. So that's an improvement.
Yeah, that's much improvement. So especially, because when you go up against some of these run heavy teams like Jacksonville State, the mantra is by the time you get to the third quarter, by the time you get to the fourth quarter, they have done worn you down by the time that
they can impose their will.
And they can kind of push and control the game, but that just did not seem to be the case. So
I will give
kudos.
Them that. Yeah. And again, I think you nailed it in the preview of this game. It's like the defense is what it is. That doesn't mean that they're just going to lay down and again give up 755 yards and 60 plus points. We don't think that, but they're not going to be a top 25 defense. They're probably not going to be a top 50 defense. They're probably not going to be a top 75 or 100 defense, if we're being honest. Are they going to finish the year dead last in every defensive category? Let's hope not. But, they're probably going to be somewhere between like 100 and 135 or how many teams we have now in FBS. That's what they're going to be, right? They're going to be a bottom 25, bottom 35 defense. Period. When it's all said and done, it's can we force some field goals instead of touchdowns? Can we get some forced fumbles and some interceptions?
Can we get at least 3 punts?
Can we get at least 3 or 4 punts? Maybe 1 3 and out somewhere along the way. That's and we're not trying to we're not making light of it. We're not joking. It's just it's reality. It's just reality.
That's what happened in this game. We got 1 or 2 3 and outs in the second half. We were able to
it puts a lot of pressure on the offense, which we'll segue to here. But we can't afford. We're not going to win a 13-10 ball game this year. We're not going to win a 17-14 ball game. We're not going to win probably even like a 24-20 ball game. We're going to win every game that we win this year, whether it's 4 wins, 6 wins, 8 wins, 10 wins. We're going to win it having to score 25 plus points, probably 30 plus points.
No, it's going to be 30 points. Yeah, we're going to score more than 30 points if we have a legit chance of winning. I will give what I think was probably the main difference maker. We'll get to the offense in a minute, but to me, what really just jumped out as heads and tails is they played bad the first game. They made an improvement against SoCal, and to this past game against Jacksonville State, was, I think, a huge and very much key difference in winning this football game was the special teams.
Special teams,
I mean,
fantastic. 95-yard
yeah,
return, play of the game. I know that was like the, athletic department's play of the game. I agree wholeheartedly. Absolutely. I think, took momentum and maybe lost it for a second there in like the third quarter going to the fourth or something. But for the most
yeah.
part, like that was a
I mean,
pinnacle moment
the
of the game.
opening kickoff, we returned it past the 40-yard line, set up a short field for our offense, and score a touchdown. Then they come back and score, and then we right back 14-7. Here we go.
Yeah.
And you got the feel of the game, at least for how it was going to be in the first half. This is going to be a shootout. It's going to be a fun one to watch. And then you had some great punts. I think, how many times did Alex Smith punt? Once or twice? Maybe 3 times?
1, 2.
I think all of his punts were pretty...
2.
All of his punts were pretty good as well. We had a field goal kicker kicked his first
2 for 2
field goals.
2 for 2.
And one was what, 43, 44?
Yeah, he had 43-yarder.
Yeah.
43-yarder. Yep.
And again, made all the extra points. That's all we ask. I think at this level is if you can be solid under 45 and make all the extra points, good to go. Anything greater than 45 is icing on the cake, at least right now. Considering that he's a freshman, right? He's a freshman kicker from,
I think so,
Dublin and out of the Australian kicking school. So
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll take it. But no, the special teams, and again on the fake field goal, they stopped it. They were not fooled. They made a great tackle. They made a great play. You have the targeting that happens. It just is what it is. But in terms of stopping the fake field goal and not allowing the conversion or a scoring play, they did great. They stopped it. And their own kickoff coverage. Either they held them to a touchback or when they did try to return it, I don't think they made it past the 25. So,
yeah.
Again, I will give special teams this. They have, to me, made the biggest jump in terms of how bad they played in Fresno State to how well they've played in Jacksonville State last night. And I will say that kudos to the special teams coordinator. I think that's Andrew Bevel. I will give him kudos for the last 2 weeks in their improvement because, man, I will tell you what, me and Matt, we were pretty hard on you the first week against Fresno State. But
they looked rough. Yeah, they looked real rough. But you're right. From game 1 to game 3, by far the biggest
improvement.
Biggest improvement of all 3 phases for sure.
Yeah.
And I guess Helton even called it. He said, we're going to get a big assist by the special teams in this game. And we did. I mean, again, like it's that there's a lot of components to it, right? Like you said, the place kicking, the kickoffs, coverage, obviously, and then returns, and Dalen Cobb again, certainly made, we'll transition here to offense, certainly made his voice and name be heard and known on offense as well. But yeah, that 95-yard return, which I think was the longest. I think it set a record, I believe.
Really?
I think they said that, which seemed a little surprising. So I could be don't quote me on that. I could be getting it wrong, but it was up there. It said something, maybe it wasn't like the longest, but it was like, I don't know, maybe an FBS or something. But yeah, it was great. I mean, he saw the hole, he took it, he was gone. So kudos to him. But yeah, transition to offense, 410 yards of total offense. We have very balanced, right? So 219 rushing, and then 191 passing. And that was consistent throughout the game. So we were roughly 100 each, going into the half, and then end up being roughly 100 each in the second half.
Yeah.
Love it. I mean, that's all we're asking for. Again, we're not asking for like super run heavy, crazy pass when you need pass, run, insert your will when you need to do that. We did that efficiently, really most of the ball game.
Yeah.
So I think, probably the most balanced offensive attack we've seen since like the Old Dominion game, maybe a couple years ago, at least from my, jogging my memory, another game we won.
It seems like we went almost two rushes for every pass almost, right? 68 plays, 24 passing, 42 rushing. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's not a 50-50 split, but the production's 50-50.
Yeah.
Kudos to OJ Arnold. I
Yeah.
mean, to me,
Huge game.
player of the
Breakout
game.
game. Breakout
Yeah,
game.
just unbelievable. He ran his butt off. And
On
you
just
know,
16 carries too,
yeah,
128 yards. Outrushed
Cook.
Cook, sorry, yeah. Cam Cook, yeah. 21 carries, 120 yards. And
Mhm.
then 128 on 16. So great performance there.
Yeah, it was. It was phenomenal. 41 points. Can't ask for more. Much more than that. I think what is always surprising to me is that it never fails that we feel like the offense does a decent or a really good job, but however it plays out, JC French can never really eclipse over 200 yards passing. Like he's like 191. And again, in a game like this, it doesn't really matter because we won and we put up a lot of points. But I am just very surprised that his yards is only 191. I felt like he was
I was too.
filling
If
in
you
it.
watched the game, it felt like a lot
Yeah.
more. It definitely did. And you're right. I mean, he has eclipsed it before. He certainly hasn't eclipsed 300 very often. But we said before the season, right? It's like this
Yeah.
is kind of the stat line that we needed from JC
Mhm.
French, right?
Yeah.
Like we needed that 55 to 65% completion percentage. We needed the around 200 between 200 and 250 passing yards, no interceptions, and 1 to
Yep.
2 touchdowns. If you do that, you've got solid stat line at the end of the year. You're not in the top 10 in passing categories or anything
Yep.
like that, but we're probably gonna be very very good in win total if he can be that consistent. So
Yeah.
I think he had a really solid game, and that's honestly that's the type of game I want to see out of him consistently.
And I want to shout out probably the group personnel group of the game. It's got to be that offensive line. I don't think
Yes.
JC was sacked at all in
He
the
was not.
game.
He was not.
And then you look at over 200
blocking
yards
was really
rushing. I
good.
mean,
Yeah.
just I think as the season goes on, we've really got to rely on that offensive line. I mean, just again. Receiving and look, guys, this is
seven guys. Yeah, 7 guys
this
get
with Dallas out
receptions.
too. Let's
Yes,
also
with Dallas out. Yeah, so you get Marcus Sanders Jr. involved, 3 catches for him.
Dylan Cobb is a little bit more.
Camden Brown keeps his touchdown streak alive.
Yep.
He's got 4 touchdowns on the year already through 3 games.
I felt like they really covered him well in this game. Like they didn't really allow him to get open, or they always made sure that he had
They
top
definitely had
help.
a game plan to take him out, but I mean, again, still two receptions, 33 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it didn't stop Dalen Cobb. It didn't start. I think, Marcus Sanders. I felt like he had his 3 catches. I felt like all his catches were huge. They either came on third downs,
They were,
or on plays in which we got backed up and we needed to make up yards. That was just big
shout out to
catches from
Terrence
him.
Gibbs. He had some 2 really big catches too for 15 yards. Rushing as well. I think
no rushes.
No, I guess no rushes for him. Okay, yeah.
No, but you had Bedinga who had a couple of, and then you had Samuel. I am very encouraged by Samuel getting more and more playing time. I am surprised that they only show his 3 carries. I felt like he had at least 5 to 8 carries in this game, but if he only had 3, he only had 3. But he is a hard runner. I love the way he runs. I love the way he runs. Also, again, the
Weston Bryan,
behemoth of a freshman.
Yeah. Weston Bryan, 3 carries, 8 yards. I know that's if you're going back, if you're anybody else other than us, other than people that are diehard Georgia Southern fans watch the game, you're like, oh, why are you talking about Weston Bryan? 3 carries for 8 yards. It was how he looked in those short yardage situations, carrying guys, making something out of nothing. So yeah, I mean, again, a guy to really watch for. Obviously, had his first touchdown, which came passing the ball, last week against USC. And then, he continues to see really solid playing time.
It seems like to me they're continuing to build up his playing time each and every game. I mean, one play against Fresno State, he had one or two plays against USC. This game, I felt like 3 rushes? So 3? I felt like he was in there a couple more times as well, but maybe that's just being in the atmosphere and just kind of having a hard time recollecting what was happening. But he seems to be getting slowly but surely sort of kind of building up his playing time. So something for our opponents to have to keep in mind as we go throughout the season. But no, this is, again, I think a lot of this stat line has to do with, I think we had really good field position to start off with each of these drives.
Yep.
Again, when you're playing with a shorter field, you have an easier time to score. And I don't think, you said we put in the ball twice.
Yeah, we did.
You take off the one turnover. Again, we're going to score on that possession if we don't turn the ball over there. At least a field goal, probably a touchdown, but at least a field goal.
Alex Smith, 2 punts, 82 yards.
Both inside the 20. Again, when you're talking about punts and you talk about field position, we got them inside the 20, those 2 punts. You look at the punts that Jacksonville State had. They had 4. None of those were inside the 20. So, again, another big metric in terms of who won and who lost. Look at who controlled field position. Look at who had the better starting field position. And we obviously did in this game. I don't even feel like we need to really actually look up the average starting field position. I'm pretty sure we won that probably by a good 10 yards in this game.
Yeah, I don't even know where to find that.
But no, that's no. Overall, good game. Again, defense has their holes, defense has their issues, but I will say this: they did not give up 300 yards rushing. Only 214? No, 209.
209, I think.
214. 214 to 219. We go back down to the passing yards, Matt, that you have for Jacksonville State.
Sorry. Yeah. I'm dying with my allergies over here.
It's all right. Again, only holding them to 180 yards throwing the ball, and we picked off 1 pass. I will say this: I don't want to say I'm impressed with the defense, but they performed better than what my expectations were going to this game.
They did. I mean, again, especially the first half met the expectations. Like I was like, look, they're bad. Second half, kudos again.
I don't know what happened in that halftime speech. I don't know what happened again with the coaching staff. I don't know if something got changed up. I don't know.
I mean,
but the defense played better.
Yeah, to me, it didn't look like anything changed dramatically, like scheme wise, but it did look like tackling improved. It looked like guys were swarming to the ball better. It just, I mean, it's hard to say, obviously, but like it just looked like they were, they weren't doing anything just like totally differently.
Mm-hmm.
They were just playing better. They were just making the plays, and
which is, again, at least, again, as a fan, that's encouraging.
I also think Jacksonville State got one-dimensional a little bit. I mean, they were one-dimensional. They're super run-based team.
Oh, yeah.
So I think,
But Fresno State got super one-dimensional in their first game, too, and it didn't matter.
That's true.
They just ran through us.
They held up a sign saying, this is what we're doing, and we couldn't stop it.
We couldn't stop it. So, again, as a fan, I will say that the performance in the second half is very encouraging in terms of hopefully we can build upon this. We have Maine, who let's hope that we can hold them to less than 200. We're
going to talk about Maine.
200 yards rushing and then improve upon those defensive stats that we showed earlier to where maybe they're not so bad compared to our previous teams here at Georgia Southern. But again, we won't really know what improvements are made because it is Maine. We have JMU. Matt has it pulled up here. But yeah, we have 2 hard games after Maine. I'm just going to go throw this out there. Southern Miss took care of business against App State, made that game look pretty easy for them. But we have got to take care of business against Maine. We cannot get too carried away with what's going on with our conference opponents, and look ahead at JMU and Southern Miss, who are going to be 2 massive games to open up this Sun Belt Conference season. So, Matt, we talked about this a little bit before.
Do you have? Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to force your hand here to like move it along and preview the next opponent. I mean, do you have anything else to?
No, but I hope our buddy Craig is.
He provided stats. We have receipts, Craig. Like
our number
one
just
fan. Making this up. I know.
No, but no, I hope. I'm gonna let you tell us all about the
Maine Black Bears. The
Maine Black Bears. We have played them a few times before, but yeah,
we have played them a few times. We had some good history against them in the FCS playoffs. One of my favorite. That was Maine, right? Or was
the meme where the coach is throwing
with the coach, the meme, because it's the option and it's mid pitch on the option pitch, and you just see the coach just seeing the defensive player out of position, and he's just throwing the clipboard. Like, are you kidding me? It's so good. So that is me. That is Maine.
We have to resurrect that meme and try to find it somewhere.
We have
before
to. Yeah. It's definitely meme worthy. So the Black Bears, as you see on the screen here, if you're watching on YouTube, they're 0-3. They won 5 games, I believe, last year. And I think they have the same coach and stuff, but obviously not a good start to the season. They have played 2 FCS opponents in the last 2 games. They opened against Liberty. Now that 7-28 loss against Liberty, that was a tied ball game, correct, Cody, going into the fourth quarter.
To the fourth quarter, it was tied 7-7 at Liberty, and Liberty scored 21 points in that fourth quarter.
Which at the time, I was like,
everybody was
watching that, because we see what happens, at Fresno.
Yep.
We get blown out in the second half. And then, Liberty comes into the season as, yes, they have one of the weakest, if not the weakest, strength of schedule in the country. But out of Conference USA, like, some people are already tabbing them to be the Group of 5 representative in the college football playoff, because the schedule's so easy and because they've been there before, and have run the table. So they come in and Maine gives them all they can handle and more. And I'm sweating bullets. I'm like, man, we might be 0-4. And out of conference play. Come to find out, Liberty's not very good. It seems, right? Yes, Jacksonville State beat them. They beat them by 2 scores. They just got blown out by Bowling Green. And then again, this Maine game to open the year, where 7-7 going into the fourth quarter. You're thinking maybe Maine's a lot better than they are. Mm-hmm. It's looking like that's not the case. Liberty's just really struggling. So they do play William and Mary close, 28-27. Loss on the road there. William and Mary, I don't believe has really beaten anyone of significance. And then this one, Stonehill College, they open at home this past week against Stonehill College, which, like, Cody, I don't have a lot of talents. One of the, if you want to call it a talent, it's like useless knowledge kind of deal, right? Bar trick or whatever you want to call it, is like, I know a lot of mascots across, all of college football. Like, pretty much, I can name all the FBS mascots pretty easily. And I know most of the FCS mascots. I have never heard of Stonehill College, right? I mean, like, you pull me to the side of the bar and say, South Dakota State, and I say the Jackrabbits. You say, what about UMass, the Minutemen? Stonehill College, I guess they're the Skyhawks. I just found that out in the last hour. So they moved up. They were a Division II team. They moved up to FCS in 2022. They don't seem to be a very good, even Division II or FCS team. But yeah, they grind out a win 13-10 on the road against Maine. So the Black Bears come in to Paulson Stadium 0-3. And yeah, look, I mean, it's our FCS opponent. We have struggled with them in the past, mainly in the Lunsford era. Teams like Campbell, teams like Gardner Webb, and stuff like that. But I will say in the Helton era, we've handled our FCS opponents pretty easily.
Yeah, we have.
We have multiple scores, never really in doubt. I don't think we've ever beaten a team 70-3 or anything crazy, but we've always handled them very
Yeah, I
easily.
think the worst FCS defeat or victory, largest margin of victory was that first year against Morgan State, where everybody was about to have a panic attack in the first half, and then we blew it open in the second half. But no, I'll be very honest with you. I expect the same in this game. I expect a pretty large margin of victory. If we don't, that would be a podcast. If we don't,
that'll be a podcast.
If we have to squeak out a victory against Maine.
Yeah. So look, they're only averaging 14 points per game.
Okay.
They're average per game,
Look,
193 rushing yards.
If I am Brandon Bailey in that defense, as crazy as this might sound, you've got to set the goal for a shutout. You gotta make it a point to get a shutout in this game. I know that's as porous as this defense has been, but I think it would go a long way in terms of confidence and at least in terms of maybe trying to put at least the first two games, at least the first 2.5 games, you can say first 2.5 or 10 quarters of the season sort of behind and say maybe we've gotten this defense thing at least a little bit figured out.
They can't pass the ball at all. I mean, 84 attempts, 41 completions, 2 interceptions.
Good. Load up the box then. Load up the box, play man. And
108 yards per game through 3 games, passing the ball, 193.7 yards per game, rushing the football, 3 touchdowns.
Do they have individual stats? Yeah, click on individual stats and see if there's one receiver that they have that they try to throw the ball to. I'm going to, receiving.
Receiving, it looks like they've got Scott Woods has 1 touchdown. He averages 36 yards a game. They don't really have one guy. They got 2 guys, I guess.
Okay.
But, yeah.
I was going to say, who has the most receiving yards overall?
109 and 100. Yeah.
Okay, so they got those 2 guys. And then who's their rusher? Who's their main running back that they got?
Yeah, because that's their main bread and butter. Sincere Baines is his name. Sincere. He's got 40 attempts, 314 yards already.
Okay.
So he's got 1 touchdown, long of 77 yards, averages 103.67 yards a game.
Okay. So there you go. So what about, is that now, go to passing, just make sure there's not their quarterback or something and make sure that's actually, no.
Nope, that's Carter Peavy.
Okay. All right. Does Carter Peavy have any rushing yards?
Carter Peavy has 26 attempts, 141 yards. So he runs a little bit.
Okay. So, all right. So there you go. I mean, it seems pretty obvious. We just load up the box and try to, take them out of their run game. Again, I think this is a game where you gotta, as much as USC and Fresno State pad their stats the first 2 weeks, this has got to be the week if you're the defense that you pad your stats.
Especially for the defense. For the offense, it doesn't matter as much, but for the defense, absolutely.
Yeah. So we got to take care of business with this. Can't overlook this game. I think this is a very easy game to overlook, right? You look at this, they're 0-3. They've lost to 2 average or below average FCS teams. They are probably, I have not checked the temperature as far as what this weekend is going to be, but let's say it's a 7:00 game. It's still going to be probably a lot warmer than what they're used to up in Maine.
Oh yeah, William and
So,
Mary, Maine,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
even Liberty, right?
Liberty.
Liberty is going to be cooler than
Yeah.
Statesboro.
So looks like it's gonna be low 80. I mean, low 90s, high 80s on Saturday. At least probably around the time that the game gets started. So, again, we just got this is just a take care of business game. Move on.
Yeah, offensively, I would just get as many running backs involved as possible. I just run. I don't think you have to get like that
Yeah.
creative, passing the football. What I'd love to see, we say this every time we play an opponent like this, is can we get up big where we can get the younger guys some action?
Yeah.
I would love for Weston Bryan to get an entire series.
I would say that. I would also like to see I would like to see Tyler Budge also get a series or a couple of series in this game.
I'd even say Turner Helton, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'd like if we could get up big enough where at least in the second half, if not to open the second half, we've got the number twos in.
Yeah.
I'd be happy. I'd love to get to a situation where we can do that in the second quarter. I don't
Yeah.
know if that's going to be possible, but
don't know
like
either.
if we can get up 28-0 real quick.
Mhm.
And then it's like, look, if we, for whatever reason, need to put them back in, we can. But
Yeah.
do that. Give Turner Helton a drive. Then Tyler Budge, treat it like a scrimmage. Like, no disrespect to Maine, but treat it like a scrimmage where you get your twos in, your threes in, your twos in, your threes in.
Yeah.
And like just rotate that in. I'd love to see Samuel, the running back, get a full drive. In the third quarter,
Yeah.
not against like USC's number twos, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. Like get him against Maine's number one, see how he can do. Get our backup defense in there. See what the backup lineman can do. See what the backup linebackers.
I also
defensive
think
backs
this
can
would be a good one for any sort of offensive lineman that need to get some reps or get some
do.
game time in.
100%. Yeah.
Again,
Go out there, run block, and get
Mhm.
some reps. Yeah.
that's what I say. As well as they played this past week, it'd be great. Again, you're right to get a lot of guys that don't typically get reps to get reps in. Yeah, I mean that's just the way this is. This is a game that we can't overlook. This is a game that we need to just come out and take over and really put away by the time it gets to halftime. As much as I love how the crowd stayed through the entire Jacksonville State game, this is one of these games in which we kind of hope as fans that at halftime it's kind of if you want to
Yeah, you got kids that you need to get to bed. They're there.
Exactly.
You're a student and you want to get to the bar, go.
Yeah.
And again, kudos to the students. The 7:00 kick, it was what? It was over at 10:30, Cody?
I think so, yeah.
Obviously the nights just started for the students, but for them to stick around that long, that's kudos to them. Seriously,
Yeah,
kudos.
no, and again, this is not because we don't want the fans to stay to the end of the game. This is because we've gotten up so big that we know that we're going to win, and that's just formality to play out the rest of the game. For those back in the day when we used to blow out opponents, that's sort of how it went. By the fourth quarter, everybody
students would go, the sickos
Yeah.
would stay.
Yeah. But no,
We were those sickos sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say this. If we have to come on next week and we're talking about a one possession victory that we had to pull out in the fourth quarter, this is not going to be a happy podcast. This is going to be probably seeing you yelling at each other.
It obviously won't. What I think is actually more likely is it's still very lopsided. It was never really in doubt. We win by multiple scores, but
we give up 200 yards rushing.
Yeah, or 250 or something.
Or
right?
we have bad tackling. There's 3 or 4 drives in which
something
just
like that. Yeah, like when we played South Carolina State, a couple years ago, they had a really good running back, and I think he ripped off, multiple 30-plus yard
so that
runs.
I think that was last year, and it was their quarterback that was really good because their quarterback was. I want to say he played high school ball in Georgia, and I don't know if he was a transfer from some other school or not. But yeah, he was really good. I think he broke out of a few runs because he's a mobile quarterback. But no, but I will give
just something like that. I don't.
State finished in the top 20, 25 in FCS. They made it to the Celebration Bowl, I believe.
They did. Yeah.
South Carolina State's a good team. But
You're high on their defensive coordinator.
I do like their defensive coordinator. But I will say this, that this is not South Carolina State. This is not a ranked FCS team. This is a team that we
should bury them. Yeah, again, I think we would be obviously irate if we lost. We'd be really upset if it was one possession. And I think we'd be, pretty close to that upset if, again, games never end out, but we still somehow give up 20 plus points and 350.
Oh,
yards
yeah.
of
If we
offense.
give up like 20 something points and we're giving up as many points as William and Mary, I'm going to be livid, to say the least. So, no, this is, again, let's get through this game. Let's get everybody healthy. Let's get the victory. Let's get to 2-2, and then focus on what is looking to shape up as probably two of the hardest games that we're going to have this season outside of ODU, with JMU and Southern Miss back to back. So it's going to be opening up this Sun Belt's going to be tough.
It will. And yeah, I mean, once we get through this game, we'll obviously preview that JMU game. We'll probably give a quick reset preview of the Sun Belt by that point.
Yeah, now that most
played
3 or 4 games.
So you kind of get an idea. There was
JMU bye this week, and they get Liberty.
They did.
They get Liberty this week coming up.
Right. Yep, they do. And yeah, which you would hope would be a guaranteed win. So far, with just 2 games, they lost that close one against Louisville. Then they, beat their FCS opponent, but not by much, I don't believe.
What, JMU?
Yeah, right? Or did they beat them by a lot?
Yeah, they beat him by a lot. 45-10. It was Weber State.
45-10.
It was. Yeah, it wasn't that close.
Okay. But yeah, there was a graphic put out today, Cody. I reshared it on X of all the teams who have yet to beat an FBS team this season. On that list, on that graphic, 9 Sunbelt schools out of 14. 9 were on that list. JMU is included. They're somewhat of an asterisk because the only FBS team they played was Louisville.
They got offended by that, Matt. Some of them did.
Well, they get their their feathers get ruffled for anything. They're like, I'm like, I get it. I even did. I thought I knew that was going to happen before I even tweeted it out. I didn't make the graphic. I just shared the graphic and I counted Sunbelt schools that they were on the graphic. But yes, they're somewhat of an asterisk because they played Weber State and they played Louisville.
Yep.
But everybody else, App State, App State wasn't on there.
No, because they beat
Louisiana,
Charlotte.
ULM, Georgia State, all on there. So
yeah.
But yeah, we'll give kind of a preview because Old Dominion, which we called out, could be a surprise team. They look to be the team to beat, not just in the East, but in the Sun Belt period.
In the Sun Belt, yeah. It looks like them and Texas State could be on a collision course.
Yeah.
Ooh, excuse me. But it is again, it's a long season. The real season will begin after this week, and we'll kind of, like you said, we'll preview it, kind of wrap up, or not really wrap up, but we'll say, hey, this is who looks good that we expected to look good and who, looks bad that we didn't expect and so forth. But
yeah.
All right, Matt, is there really, I think we've hit sort of what we wanted to talk about in this game. It was, they did a great tribute to Freedom before the game.
Statue looks amazing.
Statue is it is. We actually went to that unveiling on Friday night. I'm so glad that we did because that statue is really good. If you come by Paulson, it's going to be right next to the Irk statue. If you listen to the Monday night Inside Eagle Nation with Danny Reed at Wild Wings, Dr. Marrero was about to announce a third statue, or at least a third something that is going to go over there next to Irk and Freedom, but I think the AD stopped him before he could say what that was. So I'm quite eager to see what they're going to do next over there. I love that
the AD stopped him from saying that, but he wished, but he sung "Happy Birthday" to Danny Reed and said "Voice of the Auburn Tigers" live on air, and Danny Reed just went ghost white.
That was That was,
real awkward.
I feel like the some of the wildest moments on that show have been involving Chris Davis, whether it's with the basketball coach and the golf course.
Yeah, on the golf course. Beat the.
Well, he beat something.
Yeah, he beat something out of Chris Davis.
But no, yeah. So again, that area as you walk into the stadium from the tip is starting to really become, a awesome little, venue to take pictures and hang out, and they're really making it quite, to me, sort of the must place to, or at least a must see, or to go and check out before the game. So if you didn't get a chance to come to Jacksonville State game and you're going to plan on coming to one of the other 5 games that we have left, go check out the statue. It's really good. It was done really, really well.
I know they stopped them from announcing it, but I saw something today.
I have not seen that today.
I saw something that they said it's going to be Adrian and Tracy.
Really?
It's going to be bust of Adrian and Tracy in that concourse to join the Freedom statues and and the Arc statues.
That would make sense. My first initial thought was maybe something to Paul Johnson, but that would also make
Johnson
sense.
too. I think Johnson was there too.
Oh, was it?
Basically, they're going to do 3 busts, and it's those 3, I believe.
Okay, all right. That would be pretty awesome as well.
So it's going to be like a sculpture garden.
Okay, yeah.
Essentially, which would be really cool. Yeah,
it would be really cool.
Like the Hall of Fame sculpture garden.
Yeah, that would be really awesome. But again, trying to think if there's anything else fan wise. Again, crowd was great.
About fan experience, how was like the overall atmosphere? First game, first
it was
one
good.
Under Chris Davis.
Yeah.
Sound quality, fan engagement,
that stuff
food,
concessions.
That
stuff was all fine. Concessions, at least on the home side, I felt like it's a little left to undesire. I mean, it is what it is.
For crowds or for selection? Or?
I think for selection. I mean, I felt like last year they had better selection, or at least
they have the new like beer garden thing that sounded cool.
That's on the other side. I think that was over there, like on the student side, between the tip and where the students would walk in off of what's the name of that road, Malachi or whatever. I can't remember.
Okay. Some of the new food items sounded pretty good. I don't know. Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to check any of that stuff out because, again, what I found and what I could get to, it was like a chicken finger food truck. It was Stoner's Pizza, which is a local pizza joint. Right. Again, then they had concessions for just like a hot dog or hamburger area, and then one that was just based for like nacho.
You got the
I did get the Freedom Mug. I think we got that at the unveiling that night, or that afternoon. So, we got that. I don't have that with me. I think that's still in the bag that we take to the games. But we did get one of these helmets. So we got that. But yeah, no, it was a great time. Fantastic.
Yeah. Cool.
But
yeah, I mean, hopefully the Maine, like you said, at least the starting crowd is close to the same capacity. Weather, hopefully is good. And yeah, I mean, if it's anything close to what we saw against Jacksonville State, obviously Jacksonville State more, alluring opponent, than Maine, but still, hopefully it wasn't just that it was the first game. Hopefully we can, winning the Jacksonville State game certainly helps. If we were 0-3 going in against Maine, I'm not going to expect a big crowd, but hopefully we can get,
hopefully we can get another big crowd. And then, again, like I said, hopefully we can kind of put the game away early, and then turn our focus over to JMU. Because again, that's going to be a heck of a way to open up conference play.
Yeah, it'll be a huge game. All right, Cody. With that, we'll pick it up next time. Recap that main game and spend some time talking, a lot of time talking about JMU and just the rest of the Sun Belt as we open conference play. But until then, and as always, Hail Southern.
Hail Southern.
Man, what a great day to